I'm Rick Hall with Ovation Guitars. Today we're going to talk a little bit about this new VXT guitar that we've got. It's something brand new on the market and something we're very excited about. We're finding that musicians are already finding new and great ways to use this instrument we never even thought of. Today we've got Jonny Rodgers here, one of our favorite musicians here in Connecticut. What is it you're finding that's most interesting? How do you use it when you play it?
The best thing about this guitar is its overall usefulness as a single instrument. I play a lot, and I play in a lot of different venues. I play everything from stadiums to singer-songwriter gigs, in tiny clubs, huge PA systems, and I do a lot of traveling.
What we've heard from a lot of musicians is that it's great because it's not just sort of a pseudo-acoustic sound. It does something that you wouldn't expect to get out of a body style and a construction like that. You know, the acoustic imaging that we built in is something that's pretty unique. Really not available in any guitar like that. You find the acoustic sound to be pretty true to acoustic?
It is. I mean, you can do a singer-songwriter gig with this thing, and there isn't any, you know, you don't feel like you're playing an electric guitar through the PA. I mean, you feel like you're playing an acoustic guitar. It's really a player's instrument in a lot of ways. I mean, the spacing up here is wide enough so that you can do all your acoustic finger picking without having any sort of, without having a problem. A lot of the time when you try to do that on an electric guitar, the spacing is really difficult.
Yeah, we spend a lot of time doing research on different neck profiles and widths and talking to musicians about what they'd like to see. You know, in a hybrid type of guitar, how you balance it is a big factor. One of the earlier prototypes had the neck joint at the 14th fret. We decided to put it at the 16th because it's a little better for the electric players,
yeah.
But that's we don't want people to struggle when they have to go in between sounds, and they want to be nice and comfortable, and it seems to be working for you pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice and easy. I can do basically everything that I need to do with it. It's got two outputs, so you can go to the PA directly for your acoustic sound and to an amp for your electric sound.
The little switch in the back is something that a lot of players don't even realize is back there. There's a little stereo mono switch and just one output. So you know, if you're using it in the stereo mode, it's great. You can split that out right out of here and go into your house system or into an acoustic amp or into an electric amp.
The thing about it is that you can, with the splitter, you can send the electric side all through the effects that you need for the electric guitar. Then the acoustic guitar side can just be dry right through the PA or through another amp.
Yeah, right.
So,
yeah, there's combinations of being able to hook these up that we haven't even thought of. Jonny, you were saying that you've been playing this a little while now on a stage. How are you using it? How do you have that hooked up?
Well, right now, this guitar is configured straight as an acoustic through the PA. As you can see, it's got a very acoustic sound to it. Yours is configured through 2 amps. Do you mind me?
Yeah, mine's got the electric side on it. Want to switch them out?
Let's switch them out. I'll show you kind of what I've been doing with it. So right now, it's an electric guitar mode. Oh, it's an acoustic guitar mode, actually. So you can... So acoustic guitar by itself, sometimes you need a little bit more sort of oomph to it. So maybe you don't need quite that much. Yeah. Dial it back. A little bit more. So you want to take the entire acoustic sound out of it, dial it all the way over to electric amp. Then you have no more acoustic sound, it's all straight to the amp. So really the fascinating thing about it is that not just that you have only one option, but that you can dial in a few different ones.
Yeah.
It's really great, especially for larger gigs. A lot of the time, if you're in a small club, you can get away with doing solos, you know, completely acoustic.
Yeah.
But the larger the venue, sometimes they just get lost. So dialing in a little bit of love on it makes all the difference.
Do you usually play with a lot of, you know, bigger band, you know, you get a lot of players, a lot, you know, drummer, bass player and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, and sometimes the acoustic sound, you just need to flesh it out a little bit, especially if you're doing player stuff on the top. if you're doing the player stuff. And then if you're going back to strumming, just dial it right back in.
Yeah. Yeah, that cutting through a mix is just so important. You know, you're on a stage, you've got all these, you got bass and your drums and your vocals and whatever you're trying to get through, sometimes there's just a pocket that you've got to find, and sometimes that acoustic is just got, you got a lot of high end and low end, but you need a little bit more of that mids or some punch to put it through, so you just dial in a little bit of the electric sound and just fatten it up, and it just seems to find that little pocket and punch right through the mix.
Yeah, the great thing about it is that within the song you can sort of, you have a lot of movement. So you begin the song completely acoustic, maybe the middle needs a little electric, the end needs to go full out.
Yep.
And then you have the option. And also the great thing about it is that the type of electric sound you dial in can be any of the standard configurations between the humbucker.
Yeah, a lot of people are pretty familiar with that. You know, we went with humbuckers on this just because they're so standard. So many people are so familiar. And these are Duncan 59s, great pickups. A lot of people know that Ovation and Hamer are sister companies, and Hamer Guitars makes great guitars, and they are actually in the same little building that we're in New Hartford. And you know, the fact that we got this place in Connecticut, made in the USA, and this really cool electric guitar company and this really cool acoustic guitar company, we decided to design this. Of course, we were looking at the guys at Hamer and going to their engineers and saying, you know, what would you recommend for a guitar like this? And they said, you know, Duncan 59s would be great. It's standard. A lot of people recognize the sound. They're big, you know, big sound and pickups. But they're also something that, you know, if you needed to, a lot of people just say, I like that pickup, but I also like my own pickup. You could pretty easily just pull that out, plug it in. It's not some odd size.
So you were telling me that these are all hand-built.
Yeah, it's something that's just really amazing to see. A lot of people think of an electric guitar, and you find so many when you walk into a store, and people almost assume these days that they're made overseas and that there's some way that companies are kind of skimping on their woods or the process, and it's not. But this guitar is made in the USA, and it's not just the fact that these people really know what they're doing. We start with some just really good quality stuff. You know, this big mahogany body, one piece and a one-piece neck, and the way that it's set into the body is just this process that's amazingly time-consuming, but it gives you this joint that's just so, it's almost like this is all one piece
Seamless.
of mahogany. And string through the body is where you get all the sustain. So the construction of this is something, you know, if we wanted to do this overseas somewhere, I don't know anywhere. I travel all over the world to just about every guitar factories out there, and I've never seen a factory that would be able to pull this off overseas. This is something that's, you know, really takes some real talent, but you feel it. You know, you feel, when you play it, it's just like, you just hear this big sound that just kind of keeps going. It's this huge amount of sustain, and that's from the materials and the way that's all built. You know, the fact that we have those luthiers out there in Connecticut is just, you know, we couldn't do it without it. You couldn't build this quality, kind of a quality guitar somewhere else. It really has to be done right there.
It shows.
Well, the most fun part of these things is, of course, playing them. It just always amazes me when just, you know, hearing what's coming out of these things. Just, you know, just